Hi, it's me, Annalisa, with my spiritual friend. I am back. It's Sunday, October 9th. I hope everybody is doing well. Um, Short list. Hi, Ashley. So I am doing okay. I am now hoping I have more of a set schedule and figuring things out. Um, I guess first my introduction. I'm Annalisa, psychic medium, spiritualist reverend. I've been doing readings professionally for 13 years. Most of you know me and are just constant followers. I haven't grown much, and that's okay. This is just where we're at. But if you do interact, it helps boost my channel. So if you're watched, just stop by and say hello. If you're like, oh, whatever, I can watch it. Like, just comment on the videos, even if it's after the fact. Like them, share them, whatever, because it does boost me a little bit. I'm not working as hard as I used to push all the stuff out. I'm trying to figure out balance and everything else. I am now going to be homeschooling my oldest daughter, who is autistic, and she's just having a really hard time getting back into that building. It's big. There's 7 different classes, lots to navigate, and they've been trying on offering different things that will help her, and she just can't get out of her busy mind in order to try and push past it. And so we're going to try homeschooling, see how it goes. Wish me luck. Send me energy. I really don't know what else to do. And she needs an education. That's what's new with me. I hope everybody else is well. Hello, Miss Rose. It's been a while. It's nice to see you. In case any of you guys don't do this stuff, like have your own little channels here or there or wherever, engagement is really important for the person and the creator who's doing the work. So, the likes are really important. Just like little comments, not just even during the live, but afterwards, just like, hey, great show, whatever, anything is helpful. Okay. That's my push. I'm wearing different bracelets today. Let's see. I bought these. So last weekend I went into the city and I went to my first in-person seance with the 3 different churches. And so there's hi, hold on. I'm in the middle of doing a live. Please don't come over here. What's up?
Mom?
Yeah.
Can I have some chips?
Yes, go.
Mm-hmm.
Monkey pants.
Sorry, Mommy.
You don't have to say sorry. I love you. Can you close my door all the way, please? Thank you, Sugar. So my 9-year-old tells me, Mommy, I'm going to watch you, so don't say any swear words. Well, at least don't say any swear words that, like, I don't know. So it's okay if I know them already. And they're all, sorry, itchy eye. They're like obsessed with my 5-year-old always asks if she can do stuff when she's 21. Like, she knows it's not right for a 5-year-old yet, but so she'll say, she asked if when she's 21, she can have her own YouTube channel. I said, sure. She's like, maybe before I'm 21. Because there was something she asked for makeup like Mommy. Like, listen, I'm not wearing heavy makeup at all, just so you know. And she's like, I mean, it's obvious I wear like mascara, and I make my eyebrows a little darker, and I put on a tiny bit of, like, that's it. I wear a sunblock. One of my friends was like, what do you do with your skin? I was like, I wash it with CeraVe hydrating. I put on Mad Hippie vitamin C serum, and then I put on a lotion that has a little bit of a tint to it, but it's basically my skin color, and like not any darker. And it has SPF in it. And that's it. I am low maintenance. And like mascara and like a tiny bit of concealer here for dark. Hi, dude. Anyway, random ramblings. So I have to watch my swearing today because apparently I'm being monitored by my 9-year-old and probably my 5-year-old. All right. So I hope everybody's well. I'm really noticing you should watch, maybe you guys aren't into all of this stuff, but when I talk about manifesting and energy work and how the Nobel Peace Prize was just awarded to somebody, and it sounds like where they're saying like basically thoughts create things. So just saying. And when I talk about mindset work, it's not because I'm saying like it is a form of being spiritual, about loving yourself and being kind to yourself. And Miss Devery, if you happen to be watching, I don't know that you are, but it's not meant to welcome in other stuff. And there is always negative energy around, I suppose, but um, certainly it's not meant to harm you in any way. Um, but one thing that I've been doing since like sort of like loving myself and working on my mindset and working on how I speak to myself is really understanding like when I know we can be really hard on ourselves as parents and just as people in general, right? And then there's the golden rule about do unto others as you do unto yourself, right? So it's about really about the outward work. But if we are treating ourselves terribly, then we certainly don't have the capacity to be kind and like genuinely non-judgmental and kind to those around us. So think about that the next time what follows I am is awful and terrible and um, unfairly judgmental to yourself. So I'm learning a lot about neurodivergence and autism because my daughter is autistic and thinking I'm most likely on the spectrum myself. I'm looking at my middle daughter who has some neurodivergent ADHD tendencies and familial stuff. And I'm learning that maybe my lack of patience wasn't really lack of patience, but just being overly stimulated by all of my different sensory sensitivities. And I was able to have a conversation with my daughter this morning. She was clearly overstimulated and dysregulated. And I was able to approach it differently than I would have in the past. And then what if I would have just like gotten frustrated and shut her down? And I was kind of like, hey, I see this is what's going on. Let's take a break from what you're doing. And I remove some of the sensory stuff. And the next time we go back to doing that, we're going to put in little soft earplugs. I don't know what I mean. You donated. Okay, Dune, I'll check. And oh my goodness, you have all different kinds of names. And I just approached it differently. And I think because I'm learning to, look at my own stuff and understand and go approach it kindly and respectfully, I am able to approach my kids better. And I think, yes, I noticed that, but thank you for clarifying that on there. So now I know it's a familiar face. I encourage you all to kind of really think of how you speak to yourself and what follows I am. Everything is a construct. Everything is something that's been created within our mind. And even if you've been unfairly programmed, which a lot of us have, I would say more of us than not. It doesn't mean that program has to stay. Think about it. Systems are updating all the time. Google's doing it. Mac is doing it. Like every single operating system constantly updates. And even some of them shut down for a few hours to update their system. And so that means if you need to like take a break and go within and sort of like hibernate to do your updating, that's okay too. All right. So let's get started. Who's there?
It's me.
What do you need?
Coco, she's scratching at the carpet.
Can you scooch her away from there, please? I don't want to end this just for that.
Okay. What?
Okay. Go on. You guys are being monkeys. Go on. No, you know what you're doing. Go on. Go. Someone wants to hear their voice on YouTube. I'm almost certain of it. All right. So I've got Ashley. Can I read what you wrote me? And I only ask because it sort of validates like what I've had in the past read for you. So they went, while I'm waiting for you to give me a response to that. Yes. Okay, perfect. They went out to go look for Halloween costumes, and I get this frantic call from my husband, and he's like, April is my youngest. She's 5. She won't talk. She won't say anything. We were there. We were looking at these things, and all of a sudden she just went mute. She wouldn't talk. And And she nodded her head yes, that she wanted to go home. Like, he's so afraid he traumatized her. And I was like, okay. And I was talking to her while they were in the car. And I was just saying, like, you're okay. You're safe. It's okay. Like, mommy, I was like, do you want mommy to come to you? Because I would have gotten in the car and met them wherever they were at. And they were like, he was like, well, no, we're going to be home in like 5 minutes. I said, okay. I was like, let me get ready. Though I'm dressed, because I was just getting out of the shower. I was like, I'm dressed and available for her. And she had nodded her head yes. Like, okay. So they get inside and she's like running to me, like, and I was like, what is going on? And she's like looking to spit somewhere. And I was like, but the trash can, like, I didn't have a liner in it. And I was like, okay. I was like, here's a Kleenex. She was like, and she starts smiling. It's like, what happened? I go, you just couldn't talk. She had stuff in your mouth. She's like, yeah. So she was like, she said she had a piece of gum and it melted in her mouth, but she swallowed some of it. I don't know. Sounds like nasty gum to me. And scared the crap out of my husband and my other daughter. And then she started crying because she was like, I was like, you're not in trouble. It's okay. 5. Okay. All right. So I'm coming. Hang on, Ashley. I'm finding your stuff. I don't remember where you wrote it. Did you write it in the PayPal message? Let me see. Okay. Sorry for rambling, everybody. Sometimes I think you like to know about me. No. Okay, so she said, hi, Annalisa. I asked you back in February and again in May about the situation with Sebastian and I. In February, you said it was going to shift and change for the better. And in May, you said it was going to be a friendship first and transition into a better, healthier relationship than before. He's been taking care of me pretty much every day since my mom went home a month ago and I stayed at his apartment most nights. Some days it seems like he doesn't want me to go home. How is he feeling about me and all of this? And do you still see things evolving into a relationship again? We're very flirty and very comfortable with each other, but nothing physical has happened yet. So what I would like to say, I was right. I'm saying that because I think you're in the middle of the previous prediction where I said it would start as a friendship and slowly develop into something more. So I don't want to tell you to stop being impatient, but I'm telling you to stop being impatient. Like, and then I'm going to ask you to ask sort of if there's a different question followed on this, because I feel like me reading on this is like, but I already told you that. So you're needing to wait for the unfoldment. This is precisely why I charge the rates I charge for private readings. And because they're not like astronomical, they're not like John Edward rates or Long Island medium rates, or even some of the other people I know that read rates. Like, not trying to judge anybody. Everybody can charge whatever they want, but I'm saying, like, they're not astronomical, but they're enough that you're not wanting to come to me every week. Hi, Regine. You're not wanting to come to me every week and get a reading every week. So this is like you're in the unfoldment period of that previous one where I said friendship. Hi, Gia. Where I said friendship turning into more. So I want you to do yourself a favor. Sure, I am. I want you to do yourself a favor, Ashley. This is where the self-concept comes in. First of all, if he wasn't caring for you in some capacity, would he let you stay at his house for a month? No. Like, men don't operate that way. They just don't. If they don't want to do something, trust me, they don't. And if they don't want to do it and they're doing it, whatever, they're going to make sure it's known that they do not want to be doing that. Sorry, because when I listen back to this and I hear that crunching, it annoys the shit out of me. So, oh, hi. Oh, you have earphones in. Oh, okay, good. That was embarrassing for a minute. I was like, oh, hi, Sebastian. So you're in unfolding of that other prediction. So can you just be like, oh, it's fine. Anna said this is gonna be good. Okay, Gia, I'll check it. I saw the PayPal pop up, so I'll look at it exactly and all of that stuff. So you're in the unfolding of that May prediction. So can you just sit tight in that and be okay with that? Can you just, like, Anna said this was going to happen, that so I'm just going to be like, yeah, I'm good. Of course he likes me. Of course we have a connection. Of course, because I'm fucking amazing. Sorry, Daisy, if you heard that. I am really amazing, and you need to own that and love yourself, and just stop doubting yourself. Stop doubting how amazing you are. Stop doubting that you're lovable and that you're worth it, because you are. You are worthy. You are valuable. You are lovable. So own it. Allow it. Allow yourself to love yourself enough to be confident enough. And also, let's keep in mind, realistically, 7 billion people on the planet. There is not just one option for you. And if one person is not on the same vibrational level and cannot see how amazing you are, that does not take away from your worth and your value. So please ask me another question if you can, because I feel like it's unfair to take your money for that, for me to just tell you, remind you what you already know, that you're in the middle of the previous prediction. Things don't just always like there's always an unfolding. They don't just happen overnight. And what you're telling me right now is just that you are feeling a little insecure and you're wanting a little validation. So I'm reminding you of what I told you then. A lot of the stuff that I get when I'm like, I did a reading for a woman yesterday who I thought I had read for her before, but she's a new client. And so I always go through and I connect in with all of your energy, and I tell you everything I feel physically, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, you have a tooth thing here. And I felt it in my right tooth. I just pointed to my left, but I was like, oh, it's in my right upper molar. So I was like, I don't know if this is like an old tooth or a recent like tooth work, but there's something there. And my jaw's a little sore, but it's not TMJ that I'm feeling. And she said, I literally just had a root canal done. I still have to have, and they were telling me the bite is off. And so, okay, here's how you manifest differently. First of all, nervous is your ego, fear, doubt, all of that. It's your ego. It's your lower self that goes, protect me, protect me, protect me, protect me, protect me. Your higher self is like I'm a badass. It doesn't matter. You could leave the country. It doesn't matter because you're coming back to me. I honestly don't think he'll leave. I was like, he's not. It's all talk. He's not leaving. He's not going anywhere. It's all talk. Literally, as I read that, that's what I got. So he's not leaving. That's just talk. You need to stop being nervous and just own, like, I'm amazing. I'm wonderful. He's not leaving the country. That is all talk. That's all talk. And I got to be honest with you. I feel like sometimes he says that kind of stuff just to be, to feel out where you're at, because he's not awesome about communication. He's not a direct communicator, which is really annoying and weird. So I want you, as your spiritual advisor and person who wants to empower you, own how amazing you are. I am amazing. He's not going anywhere. Of course, he's going to end up wanting to be with me because I'm amazing, because I know how wonderful I am. I constantly talk to you guys about self-concept because it is everything. When you feel better about yourself, it isn't that nobody's ever going to treat you bad again. It isn't that bad things are never going to happen to you again. It isn't that shit's not going to fall. It is that when somebody treats you bad, you don't take it so like, oh my God, it's not such a devastating experience. It's like, oh, that's about you. Or the other flip side of that is, okay, so I must still have a little area of myself that's like, I'm not worthy and deserving. Or this universe going, do you really believe these things? So I have friends that aren't very respectful of me. And I realize that like the friendships were extremely one-sided and more about me being the listener and the caregiver rather than like there was no reciprocation of like, hey, how's it going? How are you doing? And I've gotten to this point where I'm like, I just don't need that anymore. So if you can't step up and balance that shit out, then Like, this isn't a friendship. When you weren't together, it doesn't matter what you were doing. So you just tuck that in your bonnet. It's none of his business. So what if I was? Okay. And even when you're together, he doesn't have claim over you. You end up being faithful to each other because you care and you don't want to hurt the other person, but he doesn't own you. So I want to remind you of that. There is no ownership. And hopefully there's mutual respect that doesn't happen. But no. So my feeling is, yes, it's still happening. He's not going anywhere. Please, please, please do your self-concept work. Like every day. And the thing is when you're doing self-concept work, when it's in your face is when you need to be doing it even more. Like when you're being challenged more, you need to like repeat it more, affirm more, talk about it more, like in your head, like, of course, this is fine. This is just my nerves. I'm not worried about it. Because I'm enough. I'm valuable. I'm worthy. I'm beautiful. Okay. So what? She said, just in case you're not reading the comments, she said, he saw my old dating profile from over a year ago when we weren't talking and mentioned it recently. Okay. Glad you were checking up on me. How'd that feel? You don't owe him anything. Like, that was then. You weren't together. Okay. Literally. Okay. Set your boundaries. because really, you don't owe him anything. If you're not together, like, okay. I don't know what to tell you. Like, do you expect me to like not ever date anybody other again? Like, I like just like, okay. You're not in a relationship. Really, what you're doing is none of his business. If he happens to see the profile, well, like, I don't know, how did that feel? Like, I don't know. What do you want from me? Not to be an asshole, but do you get a time frame for when we'll officially be back together? I don't. April seems significant, but I don't know why it would be that far out. But some of this is about really like the test of you starting to like trust yourself and love yourself and validate yourself. Like, and I know that sounds like, oh, that's just so general. That's not the psychic, but like, am I doing you any favors by like feeding the ego stuff? Or should I also be the spiritual person who's like, hey, also love yourself? Like, and when I say like, you don't have to love yourself in order to like have somebody love you. But when you love yourself, you end up expecting and only accepting better quality. So I want you to think about a question that isn't surrounded him, if you want, or something that's, I don't know. Maybe I'm. Okay, so let's do, who do I have next? Come on, rudeness. Hi. Okay. Regine, do you want to ask your question? And then while I'm waiting for you, Regine, do you get it? No, okay, sorry, I already read that. Do you feel like you got your $12 worth is what I'm asking you? Because I feel like I'm like, well, you know. Okay. I'm going to look at Rose's while I'm waiting for Regine. Oh, here, wait, Regine has hers. What do you see for my brother-in-law, Ron? We work together. Things are a little tough financially lately. All right. True story. I think my bunny house is being delivered. True story. The first thing I felt with Ron is I feel like he is the glass is half empty, energetically, like sort of pessimist around money. Um, his energy is also really zipped up tight. Like I feel like can't breathe very well. My head hurts a little bit. Do you know if he has cardiac issues, like high blood pressure, cholesterol? Maybe does he get short of breath when he walks or upon exertion, walking upstairs? Palpitations. April Lily, no ma'am. I love you. Goodbye. Y'all, I'll tell you. I'm sorry. I don't normally answer those, but April. She is my like for real goofball. I gotta say this because it came up so much. I feel like he needs to make sure he gets he's going to his regular checkups and appointments because I feel like something's going on cardiac wise for him. Okay. That said, energetically, I feel like, and I have to say this, like you are all about possibilities and like money flows to me easily. Like you always see the possibilities, and I feel like he doesn't. And energetically, it's clashing and it's sort of binding up your business. April, please stop calling. April, it's not funny. It's not funny. People are paying for my services. I love you so much. Don't call again, please. If you could see the other end of these pictures, they're like, like going batshit crazy. Okay. So what I feel about him, I'm sorry. What I feel about him, what do you want to know specifically about what's going on with him? Because they're really focusing on the heart stuff. So I feel like there's heart stuff he's ignoring, but I also feel like energetically he's just sort of like this, like the glass is half empty and it's really hard for him to see the possibility. So it's like, I feel like you're sharing big ideas with him and he's like, well, but like, well, and it's like everything is like smaller and smaller. Like he's trying to reel in your dreams. Like, well, I don't want your dreams to be crushed if you're not. And it's like, so when you have big dreams, you don't tell them to people who only have little vision, because they will snatch that energy away from you. Right. But his money mindset is still of lack. Like, so I said this to my client yesterday. Hi, Donna Marie. I said this to my client yesterday. I told her, because she asked about her career, and I was like, you're not going anywhere. Like, you're not changing, you're not this or that. And I was like, but when you have a money mindset that's like sort of closed, his is like, I can only make money this way. This is the way money only comes in. Money, 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 money. And it's like, because he's focusing on not having it like this, like the restriction of it, A, that's where you stay energetically. But B, if you aren't open to seeing all the possibilities with it in ways that you can make money, like whenever I've gotten into this, like I was in this like kind of bad time where I was like thinking about how could I make more? How could I grow? I'm just not where I want to be, blah, 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 blah. You know, I don't necessarily want to go back to nursing because I kind of want to have my own, you know, whatever. And then I kept noticing all of the help wanted signs. And it was sort of the universe's way of saying, it's not like you're going to go get these cheaper jobs or whatever. But it's like money can come to you in a million different ways. There is no lack. So I don't know. I'm not going to go with better. I'm going to tell you, if you do, I do feel like kind of like a rocket ship taking off. If you decide to stay working with him, it feels like don't share the big dreams with him and sort of make them like move that way on its own, and then like he'll kind of go with the flow. But it's like, and you also need to like put the earplugs in and don't listen to him about like this really, I don't want to say I think he's more work like than necessary. Like it's sort of like, but especially because he is your brother-in-law, so I totally understand like wanting to work with family and like help them out and blah blah blah. But he might not be the best partner. They're also saying to me, like, why do you always feel like you have to have a partner? You can do this on your own. And it may mean not necessarily that you're fully on your own, but maybe you hire somebody to help you with marketing and social media. Maybe you, and so they're an employee or they're like a consultant or something like that, but they're not a partner. So you don't necessarily have to do the work on your own to be a solo entrepreneur. You're not necessarily on your own. It's like when I graduated from nursing school and they were like, you think, oh my God, I lost my safety net. I don't have my instructors to help me. Well, but you don't like, even doctors aren't fully on their own because they have colleagues, because the nurses are the last one to give a medication and fill an order. So technically the nurse is the one who's like responsible for a lot. We're supposed to know if an order is wrong. We're supposed to know if the med is wrong. We're supposed to know all of that stuff and correct everybody else on it, because ultimately we are the last point of connection with the patient. So not during surgery and all of that other stuff, but I'm just saying, like, you're never really on your own. There's all kinds of ways that you're not on your own. And it's like, I just feel like you could hire somebody to help you with some of the stuff. He doesn't have to be a partnership. You're doubting yourself and you're feeling maybe a little bit of imposter syndrome. And they're kind of like, why does she always have to have somebody? You don't. Sorry to lecture you. Okay. Miss Rose, you want to ask about your son? Your right hand. I need to work on my confidence. Yes. Okay. So, yes, and more yes. I say it here all the time. Yes, you do have a second question. I say it here all the time. We need to all work on our self-concept. Everything shifts when I say, it's not like, oh my God, I'm the most amazing thing ever, but like, why aren't you good enough to do that? Like, look around you and look at all the people that are underqualified to do things and they're fucking killing it. Why can't you? It's a mind game. We are our worst critic. We are our worst enemy. And I think about it, it's like all the thoughts I've had, like my mom said this and I thought it was funny. I was talking about when the lottery was like $1 billion. I'm like, I'm buying a ticket. She's like, oh, but then you'd have to pay taxes. I was like, on $1 billion. Oh no, I'm pretty sure there's going to be something left over. Who cares? It's mindset. Like, oh my God, what if I get really successful and all those people from the past that were really mean to me, what are they going to think? Like, what is my right to be? Who cares? You aren't living your life for them. They certainly aren't living their life for you. Just go and do amazing things and be the amazing person you are. I honestly always feel like you're selling something, like, and not like a course or anything, but like actual, like, I don't know if it's like interior decorating or what. I just always keep feeling like there's products you're designing and selling. And like you have physical inventory. I don't feel like this is a print on demand or anything like that. I feel like you have physical inventory of something. So maybe you start out of your home, but it feels like ending up with like a little store or shop or something. They're like warehouse. I'm like, okay, either way. But I feel like you have physical inventory. And this is weird. I keep seeing purple feathers around you. Why are you laughing? Remember, there's a little bit of a delay, and also I ramble and don't look at the screen. And so then I'm like, where was I when you said that? Why do I keep seeing that? Does any of that, well, like I see a lot of purple around you, first of all, and I don't know what that means. And like I kept seeing a purple feather. So I don't know. You love purple. Okay. There is an aspect of candles. I don't know. That's why I'm like, it feels interior decor type stuff. Listen, I had a friend who was in marketing and she corporate did very well for herself. And she's a great cook. And I was like, are you sure you're not thinking of having a restaurant or like a catering business or something? She's like, why? I was like, oh, I just keep seeing catering. Just that, like, it just seems so like, why aren't you doing this? She started a catering business. She owns a restaurant. So, um, okay. I'm going to do Rose and then I'll go to you, Ashley. Okay. Um, Rose, you want to ask about your son, and I'm sorry, I forgot his name. So let me just look back at this PayPal thing and see what it says. Okay. You're very welcome. I have to say this. I keep seeing some kind of leopard print. Like, so I don't know if it's around the logo or whatever, because it's not like a product that it is. It feels like it's around a logo. I'm throwing that out there. Or giraffe print, like that kind of like patchy brown pattern. um, Rose, are you here? Okay. Um, Welcome and thank you for trusting me. So this is like kind of what I'm being. I don't. He drinks a little bit to self-medicate. I think he's probably more along the lines of being a functional alcoholic versus like a just alcoholic. Uh, I do feel like he's kind of in a lower, like more depression state. I don't think he's a harm or a danger to himself. So I want to say that. I also feel like he feels really sorry for himself. So he's sort of one of these people that um I don't want to say, but it's sort of like always the victim kind of thing. Like, oh, all these things happen to me. Nobody ever works out for me. Everything's so terrible. Eeyore, like an Eeyore energy. Woe is me. Poor me. And Eeyore's lovable, but gosh. And I have to be honest, it's like if there's this hope or wish for him to change and just like suddenly, no. I keep hearing covert narcissists, and I know like narcissists is like, oh, but like I'm sorry, the world has bred a ton of narcissists. We just have. Um, I don't think it's that unusual anymore. I do think it's a lot more common. I also think autism is a lot more common than anybody's like really looked at, especially as I follow women who are late diagnosed. I'm like, and I just start to watch people and I'm like, oh, like lots of people are, maybe it's not really everybody having anxiety. Maybe people are just like dysregulated and have sensory issues and are processing so much at once because their brain is just like rapid fire. So I just feel like, but I feel like, so like with a covert narcissist, that's what keeps coming. They are the person they're not the person who's like, oh, I'm the most amazing thing in the world. I want to be the center of attention, blah, blah, blah. They are the person who's like, oh, listen, all this terrible stuff that always happens to me. Like, oh, I always date the crazy person. I always, everything always goes wrong. Nothing ever goes right. I almost think they're like intentionally sabotage themselves so they can just get more attention that way. So what do you do with that, right? This is not to say that you as a parent turned him into this. I think it's a number of different things. So please don't put that on yourself. I feel like you've taken accountability where you've needed to as a parent. And he sort of is like, well, that's like not allowing me to maintain this story about who I am as a person if I sort of acknowledge now my shortcomings. Like a lot of adults who aren't willing to look at themselves and they're like, oh, my childhood was so terrible. Blah, blah. Well, okay, it sucked. Yeah, there was abuse. Like, let's go back, let's heal yourself and like let's move forward. Like, let's not, you owe it to yourself to do that for yourself. And I feel like he doesn't want to because he has the story about who he is and really prefers to be. It's easier to stay in that story than do the work to heal and move. I mean, healing is not fun work. It's not easy work. It's great when you're on the other side of it, but it's garbage when you're going through it. And I don't feel like he doesn't like to be uncomfortable in that sense. You can tell me to jump ship if you want to, but this is what they're making me feel. Or Anna, you're totally wrong. You're off basis. I don't know who this person is you're talking about, but this is what I'm feeling. He's alive. He's safe. He's certainly capable of pulling himself out of where he's at. I don't know that he's going to choose to do that, is the feeling I get. I know that was very direct in the way I gave it to you, and it wasn't very sugar-coated, but I know that everybody who gets readings from me knows that I do not sugarcoat. I'm very, very direct because I don't think that it does anybody any sort of good to be anything less than just really honest and direct. Okay. Does that resonate with you? Like, does any of that? Yes. Okay. Okay. Leo sign and Gia, if you guys want to write your question, and Ashley will see what your dad has to say. On one of your incisions, I don't know, immediately this is what he's showing me. He wants to talk about your incisions and the healing. There's like, so if they did sutures, this is what it looks like. It doesn't look like staples to me. It looks like sutures the way he's showing it. So it looks like, so if the suture were, I'm not a great artist. You're gonna be like, what the fuck is that? So I'm hoping my kids aren't still listening. Okay. So if this is your incision, right? Your incision's underneath here and there's like sutures and it kind of pulls the skin just slightly, not too much. So just so you see, but like, this is like, these aren't really lines that are there, but it's like where the skin is healed, right? And it's really sort of like cleaned up and disappeared. There's not really much there, but there's this like little area that's like a little nodule almost. And it's this feeling of like if you think about when an ingrown hair kind of gets whatever, but it feels like there might be a like there's supposed to be dissolvable sutures there. And there's something that didn't dissolve right. That's sort of gotten, I forget what they call it. Your body forms like a little casing around it, a little cover around it to protect itself from it. And it will eventually push itself out. But it's like, it's a suture, feels like a suture that didn't get dissolved all the way. No. Okay. Okay. So I feel like there's something, they might find like a little nodule or something whenever, if you go for a follow-up. It feels like don't worry about it. It feels like it's literally like it'll be an easy fix for the doctor. They can go in and take it out or take care of it, or somehow your body would expel it. Hi, Julia. It's nice to see you. It's been a while. You feel when you're that area that's open. That's what I think is like your body didn't dissolve it the right way. Your dad wants to talk about that. He's like laughing. He's like, well, someone's got to like parent her. It's funny. I feel like your dad really likes to sort of like take care of his baby from the other side. He's like making me feel like he didn't do such a great job while he was here. Like he wasn't emotionally fully capable of it, but he's telling me he's like the stay-at-home dad now. So like he's on top of it. I don't know what that means, but he's on top of it. And thank you for validating that you feel a little near where the area is open. I don't feel like it's an infection pocket is what I want to say. It's the feeling of it being like it's not an ingrown hair, but it's like that feeling. Like when you get like if you think about like, it's just like but I feel like it's a suture that didn't dissolve. If you're wondering what my stones are, black tourmaline for protection, carnelian for being seen, Amazonite, and I forget what this is. I think it's protection, but it's also healing and heart chakra stuff. I'm not, and then labradorite, another protection, psychic intuition type thing. And because they sort of give me like a nice little, like it's a sensory thing too. These like are a nice little squeeze. Okay. Dune, you can ask your question, and then who else do I have? Gia. I think that's it, and then we could just head on out for the day. So I get this feeling of like being scooped up for another job almost immediately. So I don't know if your company's going to come back and say like, "Hey, we actually really need you to stay on longer," um, or what. But it's like, "Hi, Glitterbee. Um, I'm glad it's getting better." Um, these are paid readings, Glitterbee. They're $12 a question, and 30% I donate to this week. I'm donating to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, where for every dollar that's donated, it provides 3 full meals. So I think a little goes a long way there. So if you're interested, the PayPal is pinned at the top. So it's this feeling of like getting scooped up again. So I don't know. You're on a Leo sign. Yeah, I think if you're not working for them, I feel like you get scooped up by another contract or another job, like literally almost immediately. I don't feel like I don't do super chats. You want to know why? Because I don't have the watch and the views and the hours in order to do super chats. I have I have enough subscribers, but I don't have the big volume. And so they're like, you're small potatoes and we're not going to push you out because nobody ever comments on shit for you. Because that's how algorithms work. I'm just not flashy enough for people yet. I wish I did the super chats, but I don't have the ability to do that. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I don't think my feeling is you're not going to be out of a job. I feel like you'll be able to do that in the fall of next year. I don't feel like you're just studying though. I do feel like there will be either part-time employment or something. And it feels like it's like a work from home or something like that. Hadiza, no, the readings are not free. They're $12 a question, with 30% being donated to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, where you get, they are able to provide 3 meals for every dollar that's donated. And the PayPal for that is linked above. And I do not have super chat because I do not do the volume that other people do. Do I ever do free readings? I used to do free readings on here, and then people were nasty and rude, and they were like, "You haven't answered my question." And I was like 50 people, which takes forever. And people were just becoming nasty and rude. And I was like, I'm going to charge you for my time because I'm worth it. So, I have the time to do yours if you want, Julia. So I'm sorry that you don't have any money, but maybe there's a reason you're here and you'll get something from one of these other messages. Just saying. You can watch it back. Okay. So here's what inflation is. I follow all kinds of weird stuff. I don't know why. I'm obsessed with all different things. I mean, not like all, there's very useful and logical reasons why I follow things. So inflation does not mean that there is no money. It means that companies want to make more money for their shareholders. And so they're not willing to, pay workers what they're worth. And then it's not that there's no workers available. It's that there are spots that are open because boomers are retiring, and they need more skilled workers, and they're not willing to pay them what they're worth. It's all created in bullshit. It's like literally all a made up thing for the people to stay richer. And I don't mean to be like, but like follow and understand some of like what inflation is, and it's literally all made up for investors. It feels something along the lines of, honestly, it's like there's something artistic, like maybe graphic design or could be like advertising or marketing, but there's something artistic and creative about it. It doesn't feel like law school or med school or straight up business. I mean, if you want to do engineering, go do engineering, but it feels like there's something, some aspect of it is creative, because I keep getting shown like, so if I was to see somebody as an engineer, like maybe you're a civil engineer or a chemical engineer, they would show me that it would show me it differently in the way they're showing me symbolically. It would be a feeling of like being very much a numbers guy, but I don't feel that. There's some creative aspect to it. So even if you were like a software engineer or computer engineer, I'd see it differently. This is like they're showing me a graphic, like a green and white graphic. I don't, would the school have something that would be a green and white graphic? I'm saying like, they're not showing me that stuff. They're showing me something completely different. So I don't know. But listen, I am not the end all be all. Like, you can obviously study whatever you want. That's just what they're showing me. I'm happy to be wrong. I also, so like my one friend who did the restaurant thing, or she was asking about, because she did contract work, and she was like, what's my next thing going to be? I was like, are you sure you're not changing to like teaching? And she's like, why? I go, see you walking up and down the aisles of like a preschool, and I don't understand it. I was like, are you even thinking about it? She's like, no. And if you knew this woman, it's like, absolutely hell no. It's like not her thing. She's a great mom, but like it just wasn't her thing. And I was like, oh, okay, that's weird. Well, she ended up doing the marketing for something that's like the Goddard School. I don't remember the name of it, but which is like a large preschool chain. So I don't know exactly, but I see this green and white graphic that almost looks like like this. Ignore the sutures, like this. And it's green and white. So I don't know. I don't see that, but I do see that you'll have a job by the like scooped right up pretty shortly after. So there might be a month or two break between jobs, but not much. It feels like you're getting scooped right back up. Maybe stock market, but it's not engineering. There's still some creative aspect to it. I don't understand why it's that way. Okay. I know. That's what I saw. That's the way I interpreted it. I don't know. What do you want to do? So here's an example of why things get a little weird. So engineering. I don't see engineering. I could be totally wrong. There's a guy that comes on here sometimes. He was still in high school at the time, which I didn't realize. But he was asking about what was he going to go to school for, and I was like, I keep seeing med school. Monkey Pants, please leave.
Yeah, but Mom,
Yes.
I'm hungry and I don't know what.
Grab one of those big apples that we went picking for. They're fantastic.
Yeah, but I also want something else, and it's a hard choice.
Okay. Can you please go? You're trying to. No. Go. Do you have some kind of bet going with your sister to just be on YouTube?
Yes.
Get out of here. Quick, say hello. Okay, go.
Okay.
I love you.
I love you.
Do you hear the giggle? Someone's going to ask her for an autograph one day. I just know it. Just kidding. Okay, so my middle daughter and I was like, let's put our heads together, and I was going to do a little telepathy with her. Yes, she's a little monkey. And so we put our heads together one night. I was like, I'm going to think of something. We just like touched foreheads together. I don't know why I did it this way, but we're like snuggling next to each other. She was getting ready for bed. I said, let's put our heads together, and I'm going to think of something and then see what you get. So I thought of, hi, Linda. Yeah, do you have a bet? Yes. They will do. They're like, do you dare me? Or it's like, oh, I'm going to play a prank. I'm like, okay. They like to prank each other. I don't like pranks. So I'm telling you this why I'm like, I don't know and I don't understand why it comes through. So I was thinking of our bunny, and I was like thinking of like how much we love our bunny and looking at our bunny and what our bunny looks like. And I'm like putting my head, and she goes, I don't know. I just keep seeing like all these like lattes and coffee drinks up on the thing. Well, our bunny's name is Coco. So
it
hot
was
Coco.
so loud.
Please go. Please go. Come on, stop it. Hot cocoa and things like that. So I was seeing our bunny, Coco Bunny, and she saw hot cocoa. So I don't know why I'm seeing it this way. I'm telling you the feeling behind it. I'm telling you that this other guy that like, I was like, I see you in medical school. He's like, well, I'm going to law school. And guess what? He ended up transferring to medical school. So even if the plan is one thing, this is what I'm seeing. This is where I'm seeing you at. I'm happy to be wrong. I'm happy for you to tell me to like go jump in the lake. I don't know what you're talking about, Anna, blah, blah, blah. You're a total crackpot. But I can only tell you what I can tell you. And I can't make it fit what you want to make it fit if it doesn't feel like it. So again, happy to be wrong. Okay. Let's see. Let's Leo sign, and then I'm just going back to my last because Gia, you're here. You want to ask your questions? But you'll have money. So I want you to feel like, I know everybody's talking about, oh my God. When there is a recession, it hurts small businesses the most, especially if you're like all cash kind of stuff. My kid's father is causing a lot of drama in my life. Do you see this ever getting better? Because it's too much. What can you tell me his first name? No. Is your son 12 right now? Or do you have, I saw his 12-year-old son, Lamar. Do you have a 12-year-old son? Okay, then it's when your 7-year-old is 12, I feel like he's going to start requesting not to have as much visitation with dad. So yes, Lamar is causing a lot of drama, and it's not because it's not going to get better. It's not going to be like, oh my God, he's going to have this like mass and grow up and be aware. I feel like he's a manipulator. use that narcissist term, but this is like he uses those kids to triangulate and manipulate you. And it's going to screw with them, but this is like, they see it, they'll start to understand it and process it and like stop wanting anything to do with him. And it starts when your 7-year-old is 12. So you're still a few years out, and there's going to be a lot of emotions and a lot of tears and a lot of feeling sad and not understanding. And it is maintaining I don't understand it, but I love you. You know, what do you know about mommy? Like if he says anything bad about you, well, what do you know about mommy? How do you feel about mommy? And it's like, trust where you're at. Don't worry. It's like, just be the solid thing. Don't talk crap about dad. Don't, just be the solid base that you need to be for him, for your sons. And eventually they're not really going to want much to do with him. And it's sad because it's then he'll go off like, oh, I don't know, I'm the best dad. I don't understand why my ex doesn't want to. Like, there's all kinds of shit. You just need to like focus. You know the truth. They'll figure out the truth. Wouldn't it be nice if people would like grow up and change and not manipulate other people and not like triangulate and do all their monkey flying and like, because they're, that's all speaks volumes about who he is as a person, and like that he doesn't have the security with who he is as a person, that in order to make sure that people like him, that he's a likable person, that he sort of tears down every thing around him. Sure, that's fine, Linda. I can do yours. My little monkey pantses, they're in rare form today, y'all. And Linda, Julia, do you want to go? I've got one from you. Linda, I was thinking about you. I saw something about somatic healing and the tailbone, and it gets locked up. And I was like, oh, Linda. So look up somatic healing, where they actually manipulate the tailbone. Anyway, I was thinking about you when I saw stuff like that come up. Funny how the universe does that. Okay. The very first thing I'm like, okay, what else? I was like, what does Julia need to know in this moment? And they're like, she's beautiful. And it's just this like wash over of like roses and happiness. And I'm like, just completely, I'm like, all right, well, what else can we give her? Because like, you're beautiful. Like they're just admiring you and sort of basking in the energy you're giving off lately. So I see you like sort of maybe being a little bit more disheveled, which totally seems to be like in juxtaposition to the like, she's beautiful, but it's like you're doing the dishes, you're sort of just like whatever, but they're saying like, but yet you feel more calm and more yourself than you ever have, and you're sort of just like, yeah, I may be a mess, but I'm like, you like have been doing a lot of work to just really have grace and compassion for who you are, and healing a lot of the places you've been emotionally. And they're sort of seeing it like truncate off and like spark off to your kids, and like really creating a sense of calm and joy in the house. Oh, Does that resonate with all the work that I'm talking about? Thank you. I appreciate it. Is your left wrist okay? Like, do you have a little bit of carpal tunnel, or did you strain it, or this feels a little achy and tired, like overused? Your left thumb. I have to tell you, maybe your left thumb, but I think it's originating more down in this area. So it may be like needing to do like making sure you're stretching. I really feel like it's just like such a happy feeling. Wait, what? I suddenly that movement you just did at the traffic lights when I was wait, you were moving wait, what? Rocking back and forth? I felt like this wave of like just such happiness. Like I'm so happy. I feel so good. Um, and like really just like loving yourself and owning yourself. Oh, that you needed to extend your wrist. Sorry, I tend to like um I'm not sorry. Not sorry for being me. I've spent a lifetime apologizing for who I am. Too much, energetically overwhelmed, making other people uncomfortable. You're in such a good space. Like, can I sit in your energy a little bit? Just here, I want to say this. Fair warning, because you're in such a good space. Um, Hanging out with people might be a little extra exhausting. So, like, know that it's okay to set more boundaries and be like okay in your own space more. And like, there's nothing wrong with you feeling like, I just gotta, like, I'm gonna do me, do my own thing. Um, that is precious, wonderful energy. And energy is infinite and constantly moving. But it's also really important to be aware of that around you and knowing that you don't have to intermingle your energy with others all the time. Okay. All right. Linda, do you want to ask your question? You're so welcome. Perfect. I love all of y'all that come on here. You're all so sweet and wonderful. So I feel like a little bad that I'm like the scolder, like you need to like room, but I also feel like I'm not doing you any favors if I'm not honest. Mwah. My mom's drinking excesses and I take care of her. Well, fuck. So I'm around her frequently. Is there anything I can say for her to reevaluate her behavior, or how can we deal with it better? Okay, number one, I do feel like there is a bit of forgetting that she drank and drinking. So it doesn't feel like I'm so stupefied by the alcohol that I'm drinking more. I had an uncle who did that. Like he was just like he died of alcoholism. And it's not like that. It literally feels like I don't feel like she's quite pickled her brain. I also feel like she suffers from UTIs, which is creating, when you get older, UTIs, urinary tract infections, bladder infection. You don't necessarily get the pain and frequency with when you void, you urinate. You get confusion, like dementia. So I feel like there's like a forgetfulness aspect to like I drank and then like you know, um, I think that that's what's happening. So this is not psychic. So I'm telling you none of it. Like that part was more psychic and feeling to like what's going on, but this is not psychic. This is just having a lovely, huge history of interaction with alcoholics and drug addicts. More so alcoholism. So number one, always be honest and direct in your communication with them. I notice you're drinking a lot. Your behavior is making me feel whatever it is. Is this something you want help addressing? Could you limit your alcohol intake, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? I have to say, I don't feel like you're going to be taking care of her and not because I think she's going to pass. I really feel like maybe in a year or so, um, she will probably move into assisted living or something like that. And I feel that because it will be too hard to maintain boundaries for her. Does she have something going on with her right knee? I do feel, does she have like issues with incontinence? And I feel it's urinary incontinence, not stool. And can you tell I was a nurse? Ava, they are $12 a question. 30% gets donated to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. Okay. I feel like her right knee is going to become an issue to where she's not really as mobile, and that's a potential for her being there. And that's why she would need more assistance, that it's something that becomes beyond your ability to care for her. Hi, Autumn. No, if you want to purchase a reading, I'll go ahead and answer it. My husband came home now from the store, so I think my daughters will stop being little goofballs. Okay. So that's what I feel like is like it's going to get to a point where, so like when my uncle, when they put him in a home because he'd fallen and couldn't take care of himself anymore, and nobody really knew how bad it was because like the pandemic hit and everybody was sort of keeping themselves and blah blah blah. And my other family members that live in town, they're all very busy, just doing their own thing. It's $12. And the PayPal link is above in the chat, pinned in the chat. Okay. I don't know what to tell you. I would talk to or start doing some research on protecting it from Medicaid, Medicare, blah, blah, blah. It's just the feeling I get that it's going to become too much for you, because it's this feeling of like needing a Hoyer, needing a wheelchair, needing, like, she's not going to be as mobile, needing a walker, like things that maybe aren't really conducive, and like needing nursing care. Because I feel like she needs help bathing. And I feel like it's going to be too much physically for you. Again, I am happy to be wrong. Timing is a tough thing. I have so many times when people are like, where I'm really right about timing, and other times where I'm really not right about timing. That is definitely not 100%. I would say I'm probably closer to 75, 80% on timing. I'm not 100% on any reading. Okay, Autumn. So it's just the feeling I get. And I feel like also, you know, uh, I don't feel like she's going to get the alcohol on her own. I don't feel like she's going to the liquor store. I don't feel like she's purchasing it online and having it delivered. It feels like she asks for it and you bring it. So instead of getting like the bottle, get the little tiny little individual portion size of things and just say like, oh, it was on sale. Like throw a reason to her that she'll be okay with it. But it's like, don't keep it around and hide or keep it out of reach of where she can get it from. And does it feel like you're parentifying her? Yes, but I feel like she's not in a position to be able to take care of herself and know better and to like limit it. So it's kind of shitty, but like I clearly cannot stop swearing. Oh, I have a problem. I need a 12 step. She buys it, then you have to have a conversation. Or take it and hide it and be like, oh, I don't know where it went. I don't want to say you're helpless, like don't, you can be really direct with people. I have, and it pisses them off. Be okay with pissing people off. Okay. But I feel like her incontinence might be chronic kidney stuff, or like a bladder infection. So she's not drinking enough water, and then the alcohol combined. So that's just what I see. Happy to be wrong. I don't know how you fix it, other than like they're sort of like it's like be direct with her or like hide stuff from her. I don't know that she should be driving. I have to be honest with you. I don't know that she really should be on the road behind the wheel. So it may also be about time to talk to her doctor about like I know with my one grandmother, I don't know if we just took her keys from her. She was going blind from macular degeneration. I don't know if we just took her keys or what we did, but we just got to a point where it's like she was like, "Well, I can see I'm driving in the neighborhoods I know." I'm like, "You're reading on a microfiche reader," like because at the time, like she had a microfiche reader, and I know you're old enough to know what that is, and like it would blow it like where it was like one letter at a time, like it was huge in order for her to see. And then she's like, "Well," I'm like, "Well, what if a little kid runs in the street, Gummy? I don't think you should be driving. This sounds really scary." Sorry, I'm like just another reason why like just like my being so direct and so like not caring about authority in many aspects when it comes to like safety and justice and things like that is another. Sorry, I am autistic, I think. Okay, so yeah, that's what I feel. Okay, Autumn, go ahead and ask your question. I don't know if that really answered your. Let me see what your question was. Make sure I actually answered your question. How can you deal with it better? It literally just feels like being more direct, and also like it really like there's just so many multiple factors, but it's also like she really probably shouldn't be driving. She really shouldn't be behind a wheel, and not because of the alcohol. Just I feel like she shouldn't. I don't feel like her reaction time is too slow, and okay. I will never tell you you should do something because that's imparting my will, and I'd be like, yeah, quit. Like that's me telling you what to do. So I do feel like it would behoove you to not quit your job, but apply for the job that you just recommended there within the same company. Um, it feels like a lateral move, but just doing something new. So like somebody I know was working in a finance company and they ended up, it was a lateral move, but they moved to something totally different to be focused in a different area. Um, I don't know. I don't know how anyone works in finance. Um, it just feels like emotional drama. If you know anything about the markets, it's all emotional driven. It's all drama. And it just feels like a big hen house of gossip. Like that's how the energy feels to me. I'm not saying they also don't want to gossip, but that's how the energy feels to me. Like where you're just like, oh, Jesus. Um, I ate alone a lot at lunch, by the way, because I just couldn't. I would just hide and I'm sit by myself. Um, I am a nice person. I do like to socialize sometimes. Okay, so I feel like it would behoove you, and I feel like you're perfectly qualified, and it would be a lateral move, and you would do great. I don't necessarily feel like it just feels like your job is boring. Um, here's what I feel. I understood what you meant. So for this other job, it feels like it's a lighter, brighter area feeling. It feels like energetically better. That's the best way to put it. They show me in like a room with I feel like a lot of windows, a lot of natural light. Um, I also feel like it's not where you're going to end up. It feels like a stepping stone. So it feels like a really good place to get a good base for something else and then moving to do work somewhere else. So it's really great experience to garner some knowledge about something new and also confidence and then moving on. I don't feel like it'll be where you are forever. So what? People job hop all the time. People job hop all the time. And you're job hopping within the company, so it's not really like that big of a so there are aspects to it that you already know and already trained, and they don't have to train somebody new. I wouldn't worry about it. When you apply for another job in another position and you're within one company, the feeling I get is like, well, if she applies and she doesn't get it, will they fire her? And they're like, no. Um, I feel like you may get it though. Do you have a male boss? And I ask that because it's like there's this feeling of somebody more senior to you, a male who's more senior to you, who's like, I don't want to say that there's nothing wrong with you, but I feel like he makes it known that he's not really fond of you. Like he's not really that nice. I mean, he's not an outright jerk. I feel like he knows his rules. Yeah, the uncomfortable one. So I feel like I don't want to say he wants to get rid of you, but it's like he's kind of a misogynist, and I just feel like ugh, he would it would work out. So just apply for it. I don't want to say like, oh, he wants to get rid of you and move you to another thing, but it's this feeling of like he'd rather everybody to look, act, and be exactly like a little robot for him. And you don't fit that role. Like you aren't a little robot. And so it's making things a little bit more difficult. And he doesn't like that. He just wants everybody to fall in line and like, be a robot. just decide, like, this is the thing is like our thoughts really create our reality. So just decide. It all works out in my favor. Everything's fine. Nobody cares. It's going to be just fine. The only one who seems to be judging it is me. I need to stop judging it. It all works out. It's just fine. And even when things appear like they're not working out, they're still working out in my favor. You are lying to yourself when you decide people don't like you. You are lying to yourself. I've done it. I do it. Like, you are lying to yourself when you decide certain things instead of just, why can't that story be the good one? It's not necessarily more stressful. I feel like it's less a whole bunch of input from every direction. But it's more mentally, cognitively, like, of a learning curve, right? It's like learning, but I also feel like more insulated, more working by myself, like less. So the best example I can give is I did really, really well in the NICU, and I realized now, this many years later, that I really excelled in that area, because even though I had like every different discipline that we interacted with, our rounds were crazy and busy. And these really, these like sick little babies, they weren't the sickest babies, but they were, little tiny babies that were fragile and could like look great in one morning and then like turn on you on a dime if you didn't know what you're doing. But all the sounds and noises were turned down. And also like my sensory input was less and it was better. And that's the feeling I get, is there's less sensory input. And so I actually thrive and do a lot better in it. Perfect. And I don't feel like you're going to be there. It feels like a stepping stone, which is what I just told you. But the wisdom and knowledge you garner there will help you somehow with what your goal is. Okay. So thank you for validating what I was feeling. I feel like it would be a good direction for you to go. But again, ultimately, you have to make your own decision. Okie doke. All right. Now I think I'm done. I hope everybody has a wonderful week. I'm not sure that I'm going to be on next week. There's a get together at the shore with a couple ladies, I think. We'll see if it gets canceled. But I will send out a letter. If not, I also think I'm going to send out a little bonus with the letter. So if you're, I created this little, you can download it. So if you have a tablet of some sort and you like to do journaling on it, I made it really for me, but I thought, well, it's got my little logo on it, so I'll throw it out and give it to you guys. It's free. I don't care. So if you're subscribed, then that should come out with the letter. I just want to make sure I'm figuring out how to do it the right way, so you can actually download it and you're not like, this is garbage. What? Okay. So have a wonderful week. I'm glad you showed up, Julia. I missed you. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for blessing us with your energy. Same thing, Linda, Autumn, everybody else. Have a wonderful week. I will see you next week. Maybe. Bye.